When I first met Ayan, I wasn't looking for love. I had just started a new job at a boutique publishing house in Lahore, and life was finally quiet after years of chaos. But there he was, calm, kind, and brilliant, with a smile that felt like home. He was a writer, thoughtful and patient, the kind of man who asked deep questions and listened like every word mattered. And somehow, among cups of coffee and missed deadlines, he made me feel seen. We fell in love slowly, beautifully. No grand declarations, just moments stitched together like soft silk. Him bringing me dal chawal on sick days, me editing his late-night chapters, our shared silence in bookstores. We got married on a cloudy spring evening. Nothing extravagant, just us, close friends, and promises whispered under fairy lights. For a while it felt like a dream, but even dreams have shadows. 3 months after our wedding, things began to shift. He became quieter, distracted. At first, I thought it was work stress, deadlines, pressure, the usual. But then the texts started. Quick glances at his phone followed by forced smiles. A girl's name I didn't recognize flashing across his screen. Sana. I didn't want to be the jealous wife. I told myself stories. Maybe she was a colleague, a beta reader, a friend from university. But the way he said her name, soft, familiar, guilty. One night, I gathered the courage to ask him. We were eating dinner, and I said it as gently as I could. "Who is Sana?" He froze. And then, just as quickly, he smiled. Too quickly. "Just an old friend," he said. "Nothing important." But something inside me knew better. The next day, I found a letter hidden in his drawer. It wasn't signed, just folded neatly, as if it had been read 100 times. "I know she can never love you like I do. I waited for you, Ayan. Don't pretend she's what you really want." My heart stopped. Who was this woman who believed he belonged to her? Why did he keep her letter? And most of all, had he ever really stopped loving her? I sat there, gripping that letter with trembling hands, as Ayan's voice called out from the hallway. "Love? Are you home?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know if I was still the woman he loved, or just the one he settled for. I didn't sleep that night. I lay beside Ayan, his back turned to me, the letter hidden beneath my pillow. His breathing was steady, peaceful, as if the weight he had placed on my chest didn't belong to him at all. I watched him in the dark, studying the curve of his jaw, the gentle rise and fall of his shoulders, and wondered how love could look so much like a stranger. The next morning, he kissed my forehead before leaving for work, like nothing had changed. Maybe for him nothing had. But for me, everything had shifted. I tried to be normal. I made his favorite breakfast, paratha with chai, and asked about his writing as casually as I could. He smiled, distracted, saying his new novel was taking a toll on him. That's when I realized how often he used his writing as a shield. Ayan had always been complex. Before we married, I knew there were parts of him he never let anyone see. His mother had died when he was 15. His father remarried within months, and Ayan never spoke of his family without tightening his jaw. I thought I could love him enough to heal him. But some wounds aren't waiting to be healed, they're hiding. That night, curiosity got the better of me. I opened his study. He rarely let me in, claiming it was a sacred mess. But I needed answers. Inside, drafts of his latest manuscript were scattered across the desk. I scanned the pages and my heart caught in my throat. The main character wasn't me. It was her. Sana. He had written her into every chapter. Her laughter, her perfume, the way she once wore her dupatta like armor. The words weren't fictional. They were memories. Was she a muse? Or a mistake he never let go? I closed the manuscript quietly, my hands trembling. Just then my phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. "You think you've won. But he was mine long before he was yours." I stared at the screen in disbelief. My stomach twisted as 100 thoughts raced through my head. Was it her? Was she watching us? Had he told her everything? Or was she playing a game I didn't know I was in? I didn't confront him that night. I couldn't, because I still loved him. But now I wasn't sure if I was fighting for our marriage, or just for the truth. And the worst part? A small part of me still hoped the truth wouldn't break me. The message haunted me. I stared at my phone long after the screen went dark, my mind spinning in loops. He was mine long before he was yours. I wanted to believe it was a bluff. A jealous ex trying to destroy what we had. But in my gut, I felt it. This wasn't just about insecurity. Someone out there truly believed Ayan still belonged to her. And worse, I was starting to believe it too. That morning, I didn't wait for Ayan to leave for work. I followed him. I took a rickshaw, staying just far enough behind to remain unseen. He wasn't going to his office. I watched him park outside a quiet coffee shop tucked between art galleries in Gulberg. My pulse thudded as I saw her, Sana. She was tall, striking, dressed simply but elegantly, her long hair falling down her back like a familiar memory. She greeted him with a hug. Not long, not romantic, but not innocent either. They sat across from each other, talking closely, leaning in. I couldn't hear them from where I sat across the street, hidden behind tinted glass. But I didn't need to. His eyes said enough. He still knew her. When he got home later that night, I didn't ask him where he'd been. I wanted him to tell me on his own, to confess. But he didn't. Instead, he handed me a rose like it was enough to patch 1,000 cracks. He smiled and said, "You've been quiet lately. Everything okay?" I almost laughed.
No, Ayan.
Everything is not okay, I said, and for the first time I didn't soften my voice to protect him. He looked stunned, confused. Or maybe he was just pretending. "Who is she to you?" I asked. "Really?" He opened his mouth, but the doorbell rang before he could speak. I answered it. It was a woman, middle-aged, stern face, dressed in a neatly pressed shower camise. She looked me over and asked, "Are you Ayan's wife?" "Yes," I said, confused. She sighed heavily and handed me a small envelope. "Then you should know what kind of man you married." Before I could ask anything, she walked away. Inside the envelope was a faded photograph. Ayan, years younger, standing beside a crying teenage girl, who looked just like Sana. There was something dark in the image, pain, guilt, maybe regret. I turned to Ayan, who had gone pale. His mouth opened to explain, but this time I didn't wait. "What have you done?" I whispered. He didn't answer. Because this wasn't just about a broken promise anymore. It was about a past I never knew existed. Ayan didn't deny it. He didn't say a word as I held the photo between us like evidence in a courtroom. The air between us had turned sharp, too heavy to breathe, too fragile to speak. I wanted to scream. I wanted him to beg me to believe in us. But all he did was lower his eyes, as if the weight of his past had finally caught up to him. "Say something," I choked out. He looked up slowly. "It's not what you think. It's always that line, isn't it?" I snapped. "Then explain it, Ayan. Explain why a strange woman just handed me a picture of you and Sana when she was barely more than a child. And why Sana's sending messages like I stole something that was never mine." He looked like he might collapse. We were kids. It was complicated. Her family and mine. Our parents wanted us to marry. It wasn't love, not for me. But she thought it was. "So you let her on?" "No. I never promised her anything. But I didn't stop her either." His voice cracked. "After my mother died, Sana was the only comfort I had. I needed her. But when I left for university, I changed. She didn't. Her love turned into obsession. I tried to move on, and then I met you." He moved toward me, but I stepped back. "And you never thought to tell me?" I said, barely holding myself together. "You let me fall in love with a man who's still being haunted by a girl he left broken." He was shaking his head, desperate. "I thought it was over. I didn't know she'd come back. She found me again after the wedding. She said she needed closure. I met her once to explain, then again because she threatened to contact you. And then, I got scared." I laughed bitterly. "You mean you got comfortable with the lie?" A knock shattered the silence between us. I turned toward the door, heart hammering. Another knock. Louder. Then a voice. "Ayan, open the door. We need to talk." It was her. "Sana." I stared at him, frozen. "You gave her this address?" "I didn't mean to, she must have followed me." His voice was barely audible now. I walked to the door before he could stop me. My hand trembled on the knob. "Don't," Ayan said. "Please. I'll fix this." But it was too late. I opened the door. And there she was. The woman who had turned my life inside out. Her eyes met mine. Not wild. Not ashamed. Just certain. "As much as you think he loves you," she said softly. You don't know what he's capable of. And in that moment I wasn't sure I did either. Sana didn't flinch when I told her to leave. She stepped inside without waiting for permission, her eyes scanning the apartment like she belonged here. Ayan moved to stop her, but she raised her hand calmly. I'm not here to fight. I just want her to know the truth. My heart thudded in my chest. What truth? I asked, locking eyes with her. She looked straight at me. You think you're the only one he betrayed? I hesitated. What are you talking about? She reached into her purse and pulled out a folded paper. Her hands were steady as she handed it to me. I opened it slowly. It was a marriage certificate. Issued 2 years ago. Names: Ayan Ahmed and Sana Iqbal. My vision blurred.
No, iwisparat.
This can't be real. Ayan's face drained of all color. It's not what it looks like. Sana cut him off. We had a nikah, Ayan. You swore it meant nothing. You told me you'd annul it after your novel launched. But you never did you? You married her while you were still married to me. My knees almost gave out. I stumbled back, clutching the wall. Ayan tried to reach me. I was trapped, her family forced it. I never loved her. It wasn't real. Then why didn't you tell me? I shouted, tears burning my eyes. Why let me fall in love with a man who was never even mine? The silence that followed was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. And in that silence, everything shattered. I don't remember when I dropped the paper. I just remember the sound of it fluttering to the floor, soft, almost graceful, like it didn't just blow my entire world apart. Ayan stood frozen, his mouth open, trying to form words that had already lost their meaning. Sana stepped back, her victory quiet. She didn't smile. She didn't need to. I looked at him. Really looked. This was the man I had loved, fought for, defended, even against my own doubts. And now? He looked like a stranger wearing my husband's face. I asked for honesty, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I didn't need perfect. I didn't need a fairy tale. I just needed the truth. He stepped forward, eyes glassy. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought I could fix it before it destroyed us. But you didn't fix it, I said. You hid it. And now it has destroyed us. Sana turned to leave, her job done. Good luck, she said without venom. Just resignation. I didn't stop her. When the door closed behind her, Ayan dropped to his knees. Please, he said. Let me make this right. I'll annul everything. I'll go public if I have to. I'll fix it. I love you. The desperation in his voice almost broke me. But love isn't about who cries the loudest. It's about who tells the truth before it's too late. I knelt in front of him, placing my hands on his. I believe you love me, I said finally. But I don't think you ever believed I deserved the whole you. Just the parts you were proud of. He sobbed quietly, and for a second we were just two broken people trying to hold on. But some truths are too sharp to survive. I stood up. You need to fix this. But not for me. For yourself. Because until you stop running from your past, no one can build a future with you. He didn't follow me as I walked to our bedroom. For the first time in weeks I slept alone by choice. But what none of us knew was that the story wasn't over. Not yet. I didn't leave right away. The next morning I sat alone on our balcony, watching the city wake up. I thought about the life we'd built, or tried to build, and the lies that silently lived beneath it. I wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. Ayan stayed in the bedroom silent. He hadn't slept. I could hear him crying quietly through the door. Later that afternoon he emerged, unshaven, exhausted, holding a small envelope. It's done, he said. The annulment. Sana signed it this morning. And I told my publisher, my family, everyone. I told them the truth. I nodded. That's good. He looked at me, pleading. I know I don't deserve a second chance. But I want to earn one. Even if I have to start over completely. I didn't answer right away. Because forgiveness isn't a gift. It's a choice. And sometimes it takes time. We agreed to take space. I moved into my sister's apartment. It wasn't easy. People talked. Rumors spread. But I stopped caring what they thought. I was learning how to breathe on my own again. Weeks passed. Ayan sent letters. Not texts. Actual handwritten letters. He didn't beg. He didn't try to defend his past. He just reflected, owned his mistakes, shared his healing. One day, I opened a letter that simply said, "I understand now. Love isn't proven by grand gestures. It's proven when you choose someone every day, even when it's hard. If you ever choose me again, I'll be here. The man I should have been from the start." I read that letter over and over, and I realized he had changed. So I went back, not out of weakness, but out of strength, because I believed in healing, in love that's tested, cracked, but never fake. We started over. No grand declarations, just slow, honest conversations. And with time, trust began to grow again, stronger than before, because now it was real. Love doesn't mean never falling. It means standing back up together.